Hi guys, thank you for joining me. I'm Gian, and this is the start of Thanksgiving week. So I'm going to share with you how I make my baked macaroni and cheese. This is my go-to recipe. Sometimes I change the cheeses, I might change certain seasons, but this is the base. So let's get started. I'm using three types of cheeses. I'm using white cheddar cheese, yellow cheddar cheese, and Gruyere cheese. Now you can use any combination of cheese that you like. Obviously, you have to have a cheddar in this recipe. The first thing I'm going to do is boil my macaroni, and I'm going to boil this till it's al dente. You don't want to make it too soft because it's going to continue to cook in the oven. And also be sure to salt the water because the noodles are going to soak up that salt. The link to this recipe will be below in the description box, and it's going to lead you to my website giancancook.com, where I share a ton of other recipes just like this. So now that the noodles are done, we're going to drain that and we're going to get started on the cheese sauce. And I'm using half a stick of butter. And once that's melted, I'm going to add flour and give it a nice whisk. Now you want to whisk this briskly to make sure it's nice and smooth. And this is pretty much the beginning of our cheese sauce. Now there are other ways of making macaroni and cheese where you just put the milk, the eggs, the cheese, and mix it with the noodles. But personally, I prefer to start it with the bechamel sauce, which is what this is. It's a combination of butter, flour, and milk. And you're going to cook this milk on low until it begins to thicken. Do not rush this process, just be patient with it. And I'm stirring it to make sure there are no lumps. Once this mixture has thickened, then I'm going to add the cheeses and allow it to melt and whatever seasoning I'm going to use. And you're going to see I'm going to keep it pretty light on the seasoning. I know as a West Indian, we like to add a lot of stuff to our macaroni and cheese, but this is one of those dishes that I don't like to overwhelm the cheese, and I prefer to just be able to taste the cheese and not a ton of seasoning. But that's just personal preference. If you prefer more seasoning, then you do exactly that. Now, as you can see, I'm adding the cheese, all of the cheeses, and I've reserved about a cup of the cheese. We're going to add that to the top later on. And now I'm mixing this all together to form the cheese sauce. Once it's all melted and it's nice and thick, I'm going to add in the cooked macaroni. And as I said, I'm using a combination of Gruyere, extra sharp cheddar cheese, and white cheddar cheese. Now you can use all yellow cheddar cheese. It all depends on, for me it depends on the mood, because sometimes I like to use smokewood as well, sometimes all cheddar. So the sky's the limit. Some people love to use mozzarella or pepper jack, whatever combination you like. This is your dish, just go for it. So I'm stirring this all together, making sure to break up all those noodles so no clumps remain. And next I'm going to add the mustard. And I have to have a little bit of mustard in my macaroni and cheese to just add something. And I'm adding additional salt and pepper sauce. This is my mother's pepper sauce. And that pepper just adds a nice little zing. I'm also adding one beaten egg. Once you add that egg, be sure to stir vigorously so that the egg doesn't cook. And this is going to make it nice and creamy. If you're liking this video so far, please be sure to leave me a comment and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and give this video a thumbs up. So next I'm placing the macaroni and cheese into a buttered baking dish, and this is a 13 by 9 baking dish. And I'm going to spread this out using my spoon just to make it nice and even across the top before sprinkling the reserved cheese. And just sprinkle it across the top to make sure it's nice and covered, because this is going to melt and give you a nice crust. I usually sprinkle paprika or cayenne across the top, like that's something my parents used to do. But for this video, somehow I forgot. So you can do that if you choose to, and it's fine either way. The next thing I'm going to do is place this in an oven preheated at 350 degrees and bake this for approximately 25 minutes, just until the edges are nice and golden brown and it's bubbling and the cheese on the top has completely melted. My favorite part of the macaroni and cheese are those crispy edges. Now once it's done, we're going to remove it from the oven and let it cool before serving. Now I would advise letting this cool for about 15-20 minutes just so it firms up somewhat. before serving it. Now, I was in a hurry because I had a video to make, so I scooped it out almost immediately. And look at it, it's so golden brown. It has a nice crust. Look at that. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Oops, seems I got a little ambitious there, but I'm still gonna get that crust because that's my favorite part. Now, if you make this recipe or any of my recipes for the upcoming Thanksgiving, be sure to share it with me on Instagram at @JianCanCook. The link for this recipe will be below in the description box. And thank you guys for joining me. Head on down, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.